The comments heard on The View from A Pew are those of Mac McCoy and are not necessarily the opinions of his guests, his producer Garth, any one particular denomination or religion, the church lady, Mr. Lemke, Pastor Craig, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now here is today's The View from A Pew, heard all around the world on YouTube. Just search for The View from A Pew.
Thank you, Emily, and good morning, good afternoon, and good night. This is The View from A Pew, live here on your social media, your local radio station, YouTube, and now on our brand new Roku channel. Just search for The View from A Pew. I'm Mac McCoy. My guest, of course, today is Gary Hutchins from Sunny Slope Church of Christ. Here locally, it's about a block north of 108th and Maple. Bible study at 9:30 on Sundays, church at 10:30, another church and Bible study at 6 o'clock on Sunday night. And then you have also a Bible study on Wednesday night, and that starts at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
All right. We're talking about...
No, 6:30 on Wednesday.
Oh.
6:30 on Wednesday.
Oh, I got you.
6 o'clock on Sunday, 6:30 on Wednesday. You
I
almost got it.
I almost got it, yeah. I don't write that stuff down. I make myself memorize it. After 3 years, I've really failed, knowing all that. All right, so what does the Bible say about the church? And we were talking in last segment about Daniel's interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. I think this was in Daniel 7.
Daniel chapter 2.
2, all right. And let's talk a little bit about that and how it impacts the church.
Well, God used the nation of Babylon to discipline Judah. You know, and by the time Babylon came along and rose to that kind of power, the nation of Israel had already split in two, and so you had North Israel, the 10 tribes to the north, and then you had Judah, the 2 tribes to the south. And God had used, I think we're to understand, Assyria to discipline the 10 tribes to the north, conquered them, depopulated the land, and now because Judah has not learned the lesson, he's going to bring Judah down. And so he raises up the nation of Babylon to do that, to go in and conquer Judah, and they're going to be depopulated and taken off into foreign lands. That was a tactic that some nations used or empires used during that period of time in world history to keep the population of a conquered nation under control. They would just remove them from their land and put them in basically a bondage state in some foreign country that they controlled. And so Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar had some degree of faith in God, but that's not to say he became a total worshiper of God and put away all of his idols. But he had some degree of belief in God, and even proclaimed that. But he has a dream, and in this dream, God gives him a vision of really, graphic vision of different kingdoms that are in place and then coming. And one of those is his own kingdom. But he doesn't understand the dream because he sees this, I get the impression, like a giant soldier and different features on the soldier going down basically from the head to the toes. And so he respects Daniel, and of course Daniel was a prophet of God, and so he gives him the interpretation of the dream in Daniel chapter 2, beginning with verse 36. So he says, "This is the dream. Now we will tell the interpretation of it before the king. You, O king, are a king of kings, for the God of heaven has given you a kingdom." Power, strength, and glory. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field and the birds of the heaven, he has given them into your hand and has made you ruler over them. You are this head of gold. So he's telling Nebuchadnezzar, God has blessed you with power right now. Your kingdom is a powerful kingdom, but it's not going to be all powerful. So he says in verse 39, he says, "After this you shall arise in another kingdom inferior to yours, then another, a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron breaks in pieces and shatters everything, and like iron that crushes, that kingdom will break in pieces and crush all the others. Whereas you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron. The kingdom shall be divided, yet the strength of the iron shall be in it, just as you saw the iron mixed with the ceramic clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly iron and partly clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. And you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay. They will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Now, so he's talking about a succession of empires, basically. The Babylonian Empire, Persian Empire is going to conquer the Babylonian Empire. The Greeks are going to that empire is going to conquer the Persian Empire, and then comes the Romans, and they're going to be the feet, of mixed with iron and clay. The Roman Empire was incredibly powerful, and it reigned for hundreds of years, but he says it's going to become divided, and that's the difference between the iron and the clay, and